Okay, I decided to shoot a small video about keeping your filaments dry. I've seen some videos in YouTube and actually got this idea from a video, and I think this works great. So just get a normal plastic box and put window sealer around it so that it's as tight as possible. You can make it totally airtight, but I don't think that's necessary. Then you put your filament in there, and you need some kind of desiccant there. Desiccant is substance that will absorb the moisture from the air and keep your filaments dry. And in my case, I have two kinds of desiccant. I bought this kind of powdery stuff, but actually part of it is coming out of it, and I'm not too satisfied with it, but I think it works. But then I ordered these kind of familiar looking Silica Gel packs from YouTube. And the thing is, these have to be dry too, and when these came out, they weren't totally dry. And how I found about it is using a scale. This is just a small, very accurate scale from eBay, I guess, where I bought it. You can find these in different sizes and accuracies. But I weighed these, and I wrote the weight on top of it. And this is a 10-gram bag, and now it says 0.24, so it's 10.24 grams when it's dry. And now it's 11.13, so it has absorbed some moisture. Let's take another one out and see how they are. There's another one. It's minus 0.5, so it's 9.5 grams while dry. 10.2. So it's absorbing water. And then I have another one that I've held just in normal air. It's here, just a second. At my room, moisture is about 50% now. So this was minus 0.19, I've written it there, and now it is 11.65. So this stuff absorbs approximately 20% on top of its own weight of water. And how to get these dry is to bake them in an oven in say 100-120 degrees. You can bake them overnight or like few hours, I think that's enough. Then you'll notice that the weight drops and it settles in a certain weight, and then it's totally dry. And I think this is a great way to know whether your desiccants are dry or not. Okay, so and what this stuff actually is silica gel, and you can, I didn't know it at first, but you can actually buy it as is this kitten litter, or what's this called? This is for cats. It looks just the same, and it actually says silica gel down here. So this is like €5 or something for a big bag of these, and I think I can just pour this stuff on the bottom of the case, and that's the problem totally solved. But I suspect that this is not totally dry. That's why I'm gonna weight this and bake it in an oven and see and make sure that it's totally dry. And then same thing with these bags. After I've used them and they absorb water, I just bake them and then they're dry again. And let's just check. Here I have a sealed bag of baked ones. And let's see whether these have absorbed any moisture. This says minus 0.7, so 9.3 grams. And it's 9.39. So it's held itself dry. So these are dry ones. So I think this way, and about moisture and filaments. Most filaments, what I've read, and I've watched a lot of YouTube videos and stuff, most filaments absorb moisture, but the ones that are the most vulnerable or most affected by moisture are nylons. And they actually absorb so much moisture that when they come, and to my surprise, this Tallman Bridge nylon wasn't even vacuum sealed when it came. It was so full of moisture when it came that it was impossible to print. Every print would just like fail totally. And the moment I dried it in the oven, the printing worked perfectly, and it was actually surprisingly easy. So it's absolutely mandatory to keep first dry your nylons and then keep them absolutely dry, or dry them in an oven every time before you use it. And other filaments like PETG, they absorb moisture too. I haven't observed such a dramatic difference in quality, but I think you should keep them dry too. With ABS, same thing. It's not so dramatically affected by moisture, but I read an interesting note on internet, and somebody had made some research and noted that when ABS is wet, it will emit a whole lot more of these noxious fumes and stuff. So that's one reason to dry your ABS. So it's much safer and nicer to print. It doesn't smell as bad. And the difference was dramatic. I haven't tested it, but this is something you could, or I might test at a later time. So, but please keep your filaments dry. It's easy. And if you have them in open air, they don't absorb like all the moisture at once. It takes a while, but for nylons it's much quicker. So just keep them like this, and if you suspect that they're wet, just bake them and put them in a dry place. Okay, let's move to the next stage. Let's check this cat litter by drying it and see how much water it had in it now when it came. It might be pretty wet because it's made for absorbing liquid cat pee and not moisture from the air, so it might be totally like wet. One more thing about efficacy of these desiccants. There are other types of desiccants. There are more effective ones too, and there are ones that are effective like in smaller relative humidity levels. This silica gel stuff, I think it'll take the moisture down to like 20% or below that, but it doesn't absorb moisture in a very dry environment. But there are desiccants, I haven't tried them yet, but there are other ones that will. But I have to do some more research about the health risk and stuff like that, because they're not so readily used, so I don't know about them. Okay, but next stage, let's dry the silica gel and let's see how it came. Okay, now it's time to dry the silica gel kitten pea stuff, or what it's called. I have just a small oven, like €150 oven. I could use the normal one, but I just bought a second one because not to have these plastics and stuff in the same oven as what I'm using for baking and stuff. Okay, let's open the back. Let's take some scissors or something, or a knife. There's a knife. Okay, just a second. There, now it's open. Now I'm putting the scale on, and let's see, now it's 0. And this scale goes up to 8 kilos, so I think I can safely with as much of this stuff as fits. Let's see. A little bit more. There. Okay, now let's see how much that weighs. Zero. Okay, that's 1400 grams, 1.4 kilos. Pretty exact. If I put a few more, I'll get it exact. I get it. Now it's okay. Now it's there. 1400 grams. Now I'm gonna put the oven to 120 and just switch it on and throw this stuff in there. And start baking. There. Let's get back, say, after 4 hours or something. I'm gonna bake it really properly. And I suspect it has a whole lot of water in it. Okay, now I've baked this delicious cat sand for 4 hours approximately. And now let's check the weight of the thing. It was 1400 grams exact before I started baking it. I'm gonna lower it down. Well, 370. So it had 30 grams of water in it. So actually not too much. It was pretty dry, but still not totally dry, but pretty dry. Now I have to keep this bag sealed before I don't think I need to bake this, the rest of it, but it had some water in it. 40 grams, so that would be less than 4%. I think the maximum state is like 20% of water in the stuff, so it's pretty dry. Okay, but that's about it about drying your 3D filaments. This is cheap good stuff.